Right, good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. I have a challenge today, which is to fix a bathroom plug. So this is a Sottini bathroom plug, and the problem with it is when you push it down, it should stay locked in position. But like there, it won't stay in position. So on rare occasions it does, most of the time though it won't. So I'm going to try and see if I can fix it manually. So we've been in our house about 4 years, so this plug has been doing this probably for about a year. I was just too lazy to get it fixed. So I would say this is probably 2.5, maybe 3 years old plug. So it shouldn't do this. This should last a lot longer. So I'm going to try and fix it. So let's have a go. First of all, we're going to take it apart. So this, when you pull it out of the bath, if you've got yours, get your fingers underneath this rim and just wiggle the whole thing and pull the whole thing out. It should come out as a whole casing. Then this bit, if you twist it, it's attached to this bit like a screw thread. So we'll do that and then we'll see the next bit. Right, so as you can see, this is just a screw thread. So the thing comes apart. And then the same happens with this bit and the frame. So if you, from the bottom, if you just twist it, it should come undone. And then you can take the inner spindle out. So we're undoing that and then the whole thing just pulls out. Okay, and this is the bit we need to fix. So I've already tried to spray this with WD-40 and WD-40 grease, but it's not really working. So I'm going to, if you can see in there, there's a little screw. I'm going to undo that and see if I can pull this spindle apart and then see if I can figure out a way to just get it working again. So we'll look at that. All right, so give me a moment to undo that. Okay, so as you can see, I've released the screw, but it's still held in place. I think, if you can just see that, let me see if I can get it. So there is a spring kind of clip here, which looks like it's locked into a bit of a groove. So I'm just going to use a flathead screwdriver bit. I'll get it in shot. Flathead screwdriver bit to see if I can just prise that spring off. Alright, so I've taken off the little spring. I don't know if you can see that there. It's a little spring that pops off from the top. There's a little ridge around there. You can just see the ridge there. And then when you push the thing down and twist it, it comes apart. So you get a spring and this kind of end, and then this kind of end. I don't know what that is, but we'll have a look at it. So if I try and ease the spring out, the spring comes out, so that's just a spring on its own, but there's another little spindle thing in here, which you can just about see. There's another little metal spindle thing there. So I need to figure out where that sits and how to deal with that. So just give me a minute. Oh, it's just fallen out. There we go. So that is just a piece of metal that fits into and I think holds the spring in place. And then it sits in a little hole in the top of there. So I don't think this is the issue. I think this is the issue. I think it's not locking in somehow. And when you look at it, I don't know whether you can see that clearly, but you can just see there is a, just see if I can move. So you can just see that there is like a V-shaped thing, and I think this little thing rides in that channel, slides up and locks into the little groove at the top. And I think it's not doing that. So it's not locking into that little groove. It's kind of getting so far and then just coming back down to the bottom. So I'm going to give this a good clean with WD-40, give it a bit of a grease, and then put it back together and see if I can get it working again. Okay, so I had mine obviously completely disassembled. And this screw, by the way, is not a screw to tighten anything in place. It is a locating screw. So see this little ridge, see this little slot here? It sits in that slot and holds this so that it runs up and down that slot. So, but you need to take it out in order to get this off. So anyway, so the key thing is this little pin here that you see at the top. So this little pin here, right at the very top, goes through this barrel and locates into that little heart shape V groove that I showed you. So all I did was I took it all apart. I gave it a good clean out with the tissue and everything to get it to kind of be nice and clean. And then I put the spring back through the middle. I put the pin so that it located back in that groove. And the way to do that is compress the whole thing in your fingers. So push it all the way down as far as it goes and hold it. Then insert the pin through the top and it will pretty much locate itself into the kind of heart-shaped groove. Okay, so put this on with the spring inside it. Compress the whole thing down like that, and then put your little spindle here, feed it through, there's a hole there, feed it through the hole so that the what you do have to just make sure is that the flat section with the heart groove in the middle here is pointing so that the pin's going to go into it. So the pin slots into a tiny little hole here to hold it in place in the right direction. So when you slide your pin in, slide it in and then just locate it in that little hole. And if you've got it compressed, what you should find is as you release it, it's locked in position. But don't let go of the whole thing, because otherwise, obviously, it's not locked in place at the moment. It will just ping off like mine did the first time. So what I would do is once you've got it located, is just then put your screw back in and then you should be good to go. So if you look at mine now, it's doing it every time. Okay, and I think it was just that there was dirt and grime caught in the little heart-shaped thing. So when I pushed it in, it wasn't sitting in the heart-shaped groove properly, so therefore it wasn't locking into place. So yeah, hopefully that's useful to anyone else, but it's probably a half-hour job, easily enough to do yourself. All right, thank you very much.